Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another album review. My name is Christian Eschbach. I have been recording a whole bunch of reviews. I've got a whole bunch lined up. I'm going to be doing like a giant bulk editing over the course of like a few days kind of thing to get like a month's worth of reviews posted all at the same time. Um, and the reason why is just because I've been recording reviews but haven't been working on them. I've been busy with TWA stuff. You can find the link down in the comments below for that. Where I'm going with this is the Who, man. We're talking today about the Who, and we're talking not just about the Who. We're talking about who's next. For those of you that do not know, there is actually a story behind this album. This album was supposed to be another concept album. It was supposed to be the big next concept album to follow up. Um, Not as a sequel, just to follow up Tommy. And let's be honest, folks. Well, you can pick out the themes that go on throughout here that were definitely supposed to go into the concept album, and if you really try, you might even be able to find a little bit of the narrative. Aside from the weird names some of the songs ended up with, specifically the lead track on this album, this is almost like a greatest hits album put together in one actual album. The only other album off the top of my head that I can liken to this, where it's legitimately you put it on and you think you're listening to a greatest hits album, because every song on here is like a song you usually find on a greatest hits album or within a collection or something, best of or whatever collection. And the only other album I would compare this to in that way would be Alice Cooper's Killer. There are other albums that are like perfect albums or beautiful albums, and I'm not in any way saying that, hey, Alice Cooper, no, what I'm saying is like every song on here are songs I know, and I know because they're either still played on the radio or they're on one of the multiple greatest hits albums I've got. So let's start off with the album's title track, Baba O'Riley. Exactly what I was talking about with the song title not matching up. This is the song that everybody always thinks is called Teenage Wasteland. And that is because of it being part of a concept album, and it kept its original name, and they didn't change the name or anything like that. I like when bands do that. It's kind of nice. Although at the same time, I really hate when songs really honestly have a title that doesn't seem to fit the song properly, because then it's harder to memorize. That's followed up by Bargain, man. And this one, I'm looking right now at a couple of my greatest hits albums on the computer here. And Bargain is not on there, but man, I know I used to hear this song in the car all the time on the radio. 94.7 WCSX in Detroit, man. Played it all the time, I swear to God. Loving for Keeping. I enjoy this one. This is another one where I swear it's gotten a lot of radio play over the years. And the song after that, My Wife, also, same thing. Guarantee. Heard them on the radio, I don't know how many countless times, because once again, I'm looking at the greatest hits albums in front of me here, and they're not on them. So if they're not on the ones I've got in front of me, that means it had to be from the radio. Now, that being said, this is an album that was always in my mom's collection. And to be fair, that's where this came from. This came from my mom. She recently decided to clear out a lot of the clutter and gave me a lot of her old albums and CDs and stuff like that. So I've got a whole bunch of cool older stuff to go through. But I don't remember my mom playing this one in the car that much as a kid. When I was in the car with a kid, as a kid with my mom, like when I'm talking kid, I'm talking like my teenagers, the years I really remember. It was a lot more country at that time. So I can't, when I get to the next song, the song is over. Same thing. Another song I know now. The song is over. I'm pretty sure I've listened to this album a couple times, so it's on here that I am aware of it, and it's stuck out for that reason. But I'm pretty sure I've heard in a few other spots as well. Now there are two songs on this album. I really, before listening to it and everything, and getting ready to do the review and whatnot, I didn't really know. That is Getting in Tune and Going Mobile. Both are really good, enjoyable songs. And going back to the Alice Cooper reference, the Alice Cooper Killer album I was referencing earlier, these two songs would be like Yeah, 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 and You Drive Me Nervous off of the Killer album for Alice Cooper, where they're just two really good songs. They're just kind of like these great deep cuts in this album. And, just fantastic to listen to. And then the album finishes off with Won't Get Fooled Again, which is their giant, great, like 8-minute rock opera all on its own. And it's just amazing. I love it. Okay, so all of this is pure classic rock, okay? If you know The Who, if you know classic rock, every last bit of this drips of this. Baba O'Riley, Behind Blue Eyes, Won't Get Fooled Again. Even at the length those songs are, still got some decent radio play, man. Decent. And if you go just on those three songs, this album alone is worth picking up, okay? But then when you add in Bargain, Loving for Keeping My Wife, no, I'm going to be completely honest. Loving, Ain't for Keeping, and My Wife, even the song is over. These three songs are not songs that are necessarily songs I will go out of my way to listen to. These are not songs that are overly impressive to me. The key wording there is to me. But there are going to be some other people out there that are going to absolutely love those songs, man. And Getting into them, Going Mobile, I guarantee there are people out there that love those ones as well, man. Would I recommend this album? Absolutely. Pick it up. Do I consider this a top 10, or like, not a top 10 album, sorry, a 10, a perfect 10 album? And I do rate some albums as truly being perfect 10 albums. Alice Cooper's Killer, to me, is a perfect 10 album. Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic is a perfect 10 album. Metallica's Master of Puppets is a perfect 10 album. And a perfect 10 album to me is an album where you go 100% from beginning to end, the whole way through. You feel no need to stop it. You feel no need to skip it. And you just dig in on every last track that's on it. Even the songs that you aren't into, you still dig in on. And I'm so close to wanting to give Who's Next that perfect 10. So close to wanting to give it that perfect 10. But the reality is I'm looking more at it like a 9.5. And the only reason why a 9.5 is there are a couple times where specifically Peter Townshend's vocals grate on my nerves just a smidge. There are some songs where I truly love when Pete Townshend gets in there and he starts singing and, he's doing his thing and, he's just right in the pocket. But then there's other times where I don't want to hear it, and like perfect example of a song where I absolutely love his vocals is Eminence Front. I think he does a great job on Eminence Front, which is not on here, sadly. Wouldn't that make realistically, if you took it out, either getting in tune or going mobile, either one of those, doesn't matter which, and switched either one of those out with Eminem's front, I would have no choice but to award this album a perfect 10. Because even with the couple times where the vocals get a little sketchy or patchy for me, I still would give it that extra push because of Eminem's front. What I'm trying to get at, though, folks, is this is an album. When it comes to The Who, there's not going to be too many albums I would go out of my way to say that you have to own. Even Tommy. I love Tommy. Speaking of Tommy, I got my hands on the original vinyl release of the motion picture soundtrack for Tommy. Oh, so that review is coming from vinyl soon. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I love Tommy. And I really love Tommy. But even Tommy is not an album. I would say that to be a true classic rock collector and fan, you have to own Tommy. Without a doubt. You cannot be a true collector of classic rock and not own Tommy. But if you want to check out The Who, if you want to get into The Who, if you don't want to start with a greatest hits album, or if you already have a greatest hits album, but you don't know where to go next, who's next? That was cleverly done off the top of my head. No, seriously. Who's next, though? Pick it up. It is one of the Who's best albums, without a doubt. And I mean, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that, folks. Let me know what you think. That's what the comment section is for. On your way down to the comment section, you'll see a like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. If you would hit those, that helps me out, helps you out, helps everybody out. You will also see down in the comments, there's a couple links. Check those out. Otherwise, folks, peace, love, take care.